genetics and genetic modification is another good example of that, where we might know just enough to kind of get ourselves concerned about something that might or may not really be a problem.
I'm the one saying, you know, if we had a system for 10,000 years that worked, that used the biology that we all know is true in each region to adapt the seeds that we're saving to that climate so that we need fewer inputs, that we can create unique tastes and flavors for ourselves in each of those regions. If that system has been so good for so long, why mess with it? At least set up something so that it continues and isn't destroyed or replaced by something before it's proven. 2% of the world's seeds, say, are owned or controlled by 3 companies now. And so we're putting all our eggs in that basket. But now to say, oh, well, we have enough, and we're going to engineer our way out of this, is a little disingenuous, I think, at this point. And so it may well be true. It may well be true. And in some ways, you know, as far as starvation, widespread, let's hope it is true. But the evidence just isn't there. Native Seed Search is a 30-year-old nonprofit seed conservation organization. And so we were organized 30 years ago this year to help find and save many of the important agricultural varieties that were disappearing at the time.
Basically what I do is I teach people how to start their own little garden, and everyone should grow or eat more vegetables, and it's so nice to be able to grow your own vegetables, and that's what I do, is teach them how to start a little garden. One of the things that I'm trying to do is start to grow the seeds from seeds and provide the seeds for them, especially starting out, so that I can have the plants there, have the right kind of plants, the right kind of fertilizer, all ready to go. All of that, it comes with the package, not only the box itself, the dirt, and the plants. I try to start out with small plants for them, and then eventually teach them how to grow their own garden from seed. And this is the fun to be able to watch plants grow from seed.
You know, humans on the planet were eating over 1,500 different plants for their food. You know, now 3 plants make up over half of the diet for all humans on the planet.
Biotechnology is commonly referred to as a GMO program by its, conventional terms. It's one gene. It's a very conservative approach. The concern that people have, for example, that we might eat a piece of bread or a tortilla with the corn that was developed from the genetically modified plant is of no value. That argument, that concern is of no value. To say, well, will those genes hurt me? Well, you're eating a batch of genes in the first place. And a batch of most of those genes have nothing to do with our physiological metabolism. So that's a concern from the science level, the biological level, that I don't see substance to at all. However, there are concerns that we have with regard to the use of these new GMOs, biotechnology organisms, the one gene of transformation, that is of concern. But no one's really talking about that outside the scientific. We have the capacity to transfer one gene at a time, which from a genetic and from an agronomic perspective, that's a tremendous tool, and a tool that we need to be able to utilize, in my view. We don't need to take that very valuable tool and throw it in the scrap heap because of concerns or because we're afraid of something we don't understand. That's a concern to me. And it comes down to education, and it comes down to communications of the truth and the facts. But the thing that's happening today is facts may be facts, but perceptions are becoming reality. And that's the concern that I have today. And again, it comes back to my first comments that as a scientist and as an educator, I really feel like we're missing the opportunity for communication, and we're seeing a result of that, really, with regard to the concerns that the public has. There are real concerns. Most of them you hear about and you read about today, or you hear people vocalize, are not legitimate concerns, in my view. I mean, they're not legitimate on a science level. They're legitimate because they're important to them. Here's the fact of the matter, too. We're dealing with about 7.1, 7.2 billion people on this planet today. Those are unprecedented population levels that this planet has never seen. Secondly, we're dealing with a limitation in natural resources to sustain ourselves as a human population. We can do it today. But we also have the third thing happening, and that is there's a real demand on us and our ingenuity as human beings to figure out how are we going to get through this process as we move to the other step, and that is in the next 40, 50 years with the current population rates of increase, which is about 1% per year, we're projected to have about 9 billion people on this planet in the next 40 years. Now that's a real issue.
We are waking up in the 21st century with this decision to make. Are we going to support a large industrial monocropping agriculture, which is profitable for the people that own it and have given us a huge amount of what they call cheap food, but the real costs aren't included in it? Or are we going to engage ourselves in a more sustainable or ecological agriculture? And so now our choice is what scale? You know, I think professors at the university, they say, hey, we don't have the food coming out of small-scale sustainable systems to feed everybody. They're right, we don't. But every day we have the choice to vote on this with our dollars. In southern Arizona, from Phoenix south, we spend $3.3 billion a year on food. And right now, $3 billion of it leave the state. About 96% of the food. And so those are dollars out. You know, for me, once you start getting inside of what's going on in this movement, you know, this is where the passion is. This is where the excitement is. You know, I have no doubt now where it's going in the end. We're in a transition. There's no bad guys. There were no laws broken to make agriculture this big. But now that we see it in the way it is, it's up to us to use our dollars and our energy and our educations to do what we really feel is going to be best for us and our children in the future.